Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another weekly episode of the Samong Outdoors podcast. We are excited to be with you this week. This week we've got a fun one. We're just going to sit down and we're going to talk about the hunts we have coming up this year, the tags we got, the tags we wish we got, and it's going to be a fun one. Before we jump in, like usual, we need to thank our amazing partners that have supported us through this podcast journey. And just a great little group of companies. The first one is Tacticam. These are the trail cams that we use. They really specialize in cell cams and just great quality. Year-round, I've got my cameras out there. I actually have them hooked up to their solar panels. And so once I set them out there, I can kind of forget them. They never run out of battery. And in the few cases where a branch or something is blown over the solar panel, it will recharge if the camera dies, and you'll start getting photos again.
Yeah, as we're sitting here doing the podcast, my phone is blown up because there's a cow moose that's been sitting in front of my camera.
Amazing.
It's buzzing right now, and I'm like, geez, you gotta chill out, cow. But yeah, another one we want to thank is Vortex Optics, longtime partner of mine, and they've just been A+ to work with. I mean, top-notch quality products, you name it, from budget rifle scopes from like $100 up to like even $3,000 rifle scopes. You name it. We love our Vortex products. We highly recommend them. Check them out, vortexoptics.com. And if you shop at eurooptic.com, use code SY10, and you can save some money on all Vortex products.
And the last company that we're really happy to work with is Onyx Hunt. And this is, many of you know, it's a hunting online mapping software. You can use it on your phone. You can also use it on the desktop and unlock a lot of extra features that aren't available on the mobile app. But this is kind of the time of the year when we're looking over tags and we're talking about hunting seasons and drawing tags in new areas that we are really pounding the pavement, you could say, on the Onyx app. And it's just really an invaluable resource to hunting process and e-scouting in general.
That's right. But before we kick things off, you guys know what time it is. It is Trivia Duel. Folks, if you guys have Trivia Duel questions or just fast facts for us, shoot us an email, triviaduel@syoutside.com. That's Trivia Duel with an E at syoutside.com.
Amazing. Because we're running out of ideas here,
we
folks.
We are terrible at hosting this game.
No.
Do you want to go first?
I will go first, yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, I got a multiple choice for you this week. In 2023, this is according to WDFW, Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, how many general season deer tags were purchased in the state of Washington? Was it A, 50,000, B, 100,000, C, 125,000, or D, 175,000? And these are rough. I'll give you the exact number after, but these are rough.
I'm going to go with B, 100,000.
100,000? The correct answer is C, 125,000.
Jeez.
Which is actually 125,603. And of those deer tags purchased, just under 100,000, 90,960 hunters reported actively using that tag to hunt during the season. And of those 90,960 hunters, 22,724 deer were harvested.
I was about to say C, but I was like, man, that seems a little high.
Yeah, so not every tag holder hunted, but for those who did it, it came out to a general success rate across the state of about 25%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was surprised with that.
Well, for this week, I've got a much more simple question, and it is a multiple choice question for you, for once. Approximately how many grams of protein are found in 1 pound of raw elk meat?
A pound?
1 pound of raw elk meat. How many grams of protein are in there? So here's your choices. A, 84. Okay. B, 95. C, 104. D, 109.
So a pound is
16 ounces.
16 ounces, which servings I usually look at are either in 4 ounces or 8 ounces. Can you go over those numbers again?
84, 95, 104, and 109.
I'm going to go with B.
95?
95 grams.
That's a great guess. There are approximately 104 grams of protein in 1 pound of raw elk meat.
Amazing.
It's a lot of protein.
Eat wild meat, folks.
That's right. If you can kill an elk.
If you can kill an elk, yeah. Listen to our Bearded Brothers podcast.
You guys should go bug them to start their own podcast. They'd have a lot more valuable information to tell than us.
Oh, boy. Well, tags.
Yeah, this
hunts.
This podcast is a little bit different. It's a little bit more laid back, and we just want to talk about our season because we're excited. I mean, at this point in time, our season's pretty much set, and we're ready to roll through it. So just to give you guys a little bit of a background as to what hunts we have coming up, and also just how busy we're going to be. So we're trying our best not to miss a single podcast throughout the fall season, but I'm not holding your tongue to that.
Yeah, you have a busy fall coming up, especially.
Nate might have to do some solo episodes.
I don't think that's what people want to listen to, but we'll see.
Yeah, but with that said, let's start with last year. Nate, tell the people what you are doing on September 13th.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, if any of you guys are here mostly from Instagram, and we didn't make a big deal of it, but last year, about this time, so once we had our hunts kind of planned and set, we knew which tags we were holding. Samong and I were on a long drive, apparently, where we got a little bit too bored and unproductive, and we decided that we should make predictions of how many tags we were each going to fill. For instance, hypothetically, if I had 10 tags, big game tags, and I said I was going to fill 5 of them, and I was going to say specifically which 5, Samong had to accept that, because I couldn't just go out and say, I'm not going to fill any tags, and that way I'm safe. And we each predicted how many tags we were going to fill. The other person had to accept that number, and then by the end of the season, whoever had filled fewer tags had to run a marathon. And spoiler alert, I lost. So I will be running a marathon on September 13th, and it's funny because I picked it as something I knew most likely I would lose with the bet, and
I don't know, because if I remember correctly off the top of my head, I had 8 or 9 tags, and I said I was going to fill 6 of them. It was an ambitious goal.
And
I forgot what I filled. So last year in 2024, I killed 3 deer and 1 bear.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was 4 out of 6 or something like that.
Yeah, and you definitely did say you were going to fill an elk tag. You had a Montana elk tag, and you had a Washington elk tag.
Yeah, and I didn't.
Yeah, I said I was going to kill a bear, a 2 deer, and then I was going to kill a cougar, which that one kind of bit me in the butt when cougar season closed about 17 days after opening. Not that I would have gone and killed the cougar, but I was planning on putting the work in. Nevertheless, I lost the bet, and I will be running a marathon, not just any marathon, but a trail marathon up here in North Idaho in September. And I picked one in September that way I could reap the rewards during hunting season. So when we are on our hunt in Oregon together in October, I can go ahead of you and pick up all the big deer before you guys get up there.
Go ahead. I am holding you back. Do you have the specs picked out for your marathon? Like, do you know how much elevation gain and loss?
Yeah,
distance?
So, I'm not a runner, and running has always been something I've really kind of despised because it sucks.
Yeah, I hate it too.
But I didn't want to run a marathon on the road, just on pavement. I didn't want to run around Spokane or didn't want to run around Coeur d'Alene. So I picked one that's technically a trail marathon, and it's 26.2 miles, which is the marathon distance, and it is roughly 2,000 feet of elevation gain, which
that's a lot.
Is actually quite a bit. And this course in particular, the first 1,000 feet of that elevation gain come pretty slowly, gradually over the first 7 miles. And then the second 1,000 feet of elevation gain come about in 3/4 of a mile just after mile 14. So I'll be hurting.
You'll be having a great time.
I will be very motivated going into season to not lose this year.
So Nate's going to be doing a marathon while preluding I'll be in Canada.
Amazing.
With that said, let's kick it off. Nate, we'll start with you. What do you have planned for 2025? Let's start from August, because August is that's usually our fall bear season. That's usually the Kickstarter there.
Yeah.
And run through it.
Yeah, so I've got my standard over-the-counter Washington tags, which start in August for me. I've got one bear tag currently. We can have up to two in actually used to be all GMUs in Washington. This year, that's most GMUs. Again, all GMUs used to open August 1st. Now, some of them open August 15th. That being said, I will start off in August, actually, because of that August 15th starting date and some of the areas that I like to hunt. It knocked out one of my hunts earlier in the year. So I'm going to spend that scouting for a tag I drew later in the year. But I'm going to probably start off my season in mid to late August, hunting some bear, probably with you, Cy. We'll each have our bear tags, and we'll do our kind of what's becoming our annual backcountry bear trip. We've had some backcountry bear experiences on high buck hunts. We've had some backcountry bear experiences looking specifically for bear, and that's what'll start me off in August. So that'll be August. That's going to be my big hunt. September is actually kind of an open book for me. We've got a lot of family stuff going on this year.
We as in you and your wife.
We as in we as in me and my wife and I, and my daughter's birthday is in September, so that takes up a little bit of time. But I'm hoping to pick up a extra multi-season tag and do a couple archery deer days that I've been chasing this one whitetail in this one basin for coming on 4 years now.
And we know he's alive because the reveal cell cams have been going off.
Yeah.
And
so
he's
showed his face about half a dozen times on my camera throughout the spring here. And so I know he's in the area. And it'll be a little bit different this year without the baiting and all the new rules in Washington. That'll make archery more difficult, but I've had close encounters every year, and I think just time is what it needs. So September, that's my plan, and then obviously the marathon.
That's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing. And then the big hunt that I'm pretty darn excited for is come October. So I have about a 2-week chunk in October where I redrew, I should say, along with my good buddy Tanner. He's been in some of the videos on YouTube. He's been on a bear hunt. Him and I do some turkey hunting and stuff together, and we both drew an Oregon mule deer tag. And this is the same Oregon mule deer tag of the hunt that Samong and I went on in 2023, where we had encounters with some really just class mule deer.
Yeah, grade A bucks, man.
Yeah, and I ended up filling my tag at the end of day 7 or at the end of day 8 on that hunt. And so we're going to kind of wash, rinse, repeat that hunt, only hopefully tag a big buck or two. That's going to be one of my bigger adventures for the year. Moving forward from mid-October into late October, that is when our Washington modern firearm elk season rolls around. And I'm lucky enough to live close to some elk hunting ground. It is Northeast Washington, so take it with a grain of salt. But I will be doing some probably day hunting or a couple day stint. No big backcountry thing, but I'm going to be doing some Washington over-the-counter Northeast Washington rifle elk hunting. And then take that forward from October into the beginning of November. And actually, the one tag that we're kind of both waiting on is just a waitlist Montana tag for a CWD kind of depredation style tag. Mm-hmm. That might be a tag that we throw in early November, late October, somewhere in that time frame. And then the last one for me is just the Washington late season for deer, which for me is going to be whitetail deer, modern firearm. And I guess I should have prefaced with that. So in Washington, you get to pick when you buy your over-the-counter tags. Bear is any weapon, but then when you pick your deer and your elk, you pick which weapon ahead of time, and you kind of commit to using that weapon. Whereas some other states, you can hunt all of the seasons, all of the weapons. Washington, you get to pick your weapon. You have to pick your weapon, I should say. And this year I picked modern firearm for both deer and elk. And then with elk, you need to distinguish whether you're hunting the Eastern Washington GMUs or the Western Washington GMUs. So I had picked modern firearm, Eastern Washington GMUs. So that being said, my last hunt of the year is that kind of pre-rut time, November, in the teens of November, depending on the weather, pre-rut to beginning of rut, to maybe no rut at all if it's 70 degrees out. And we'll be hunting white tails up in this northeast Washington. Again, hoping to lay eyes on a single deer that I've been looking for.
If you haven't killed them earlier.
If I haven't killed them earlier.
Cool. What's after that?
After that for me is the fun shed hunting season. But
I thought you said you had a fun hunt after that.
do I?
If you don't want to go, I will happily go in place of you. Did your dad not draw a great muzzleloader tag?
My dad's tag. Yes,
Well,
thank you.
How does this man forget about that tag? That's the best tag in the season.
Yes, yeah. So I have about 9 days in November, or 8 days in November, and my dad, he finally, after years, drew a pretty sweet muzzleloader deer tag. It's a buck deer tag, and it's in country that you don't really get to hunt mule deer. Well, in Washington, you don't really get to hunt mule deer during the rut, more or less, and especially in this type of kind of sage country. So I'm really excited about that one. I have a couple scouting trips planned over the summer. I'm going to meet up over in this kind of eastern central Washington area with my dad. And then once the hunt comes, we're kind of rallying the troops. We'll have a group of guys over there, and hopefully be able to put my dad on a good buck.
I'm excited, man.
That would make my season. That really would.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that hunt unfolds. Sounds like you have a pretty booked season.
I do. It's nothing extravagant. A lot of the Washington hunts, the things that we can pick up over the counter, and but I'm excited. I know the opportunity that those hold for certain people every year. Even though it's not a big draw tag or out of state hunt or anything like that, but there are definitely some quality animals roaming around the woods that get me excited every single year.
Are you gonna decide to do anything with your remaining Idaho bear tag in September?
I don't know yet. It really depends on how Washington bear goes. If having 2 bear tags in Washington, I will probably prioritize that just because of location. How it's easier for me to get out, and it's quicker for me to get out and get into good bear country in Washington than it is for me to get into a reduced unit in Idaho. But we'll see. Bear is right up at the top priority for me to actually fill the tag.
I'm glad I don't have a wife that's constantly nagging why I'm a terrible bear hunter.
Yes, it's a good reminder that I do in fact suck at hunting sometimes.
Oh, we both suck at it. No, that's awesome. 2025 on my end is it's probably the biggest year yet. I'm excited for it. A lot of this stuff came out of left field. Zero intention, zero thought that any of this was ever going to come into play. But to kick things off on my end, that first week of August, I have dedicated to the first fall bear hunt of the season for me. And then August 10th through the 20th, I actually go to Alaska, not to hunt, but to fish. So I'll be spending the middle of August just fishing with my buddies from Missoula. They were the guys that I went elk hunting with in Montana last year. And then on that hunt, they were like, we really want to go to Alaska to go fish. And I was like, well, make a plan and we'll go. And it's coming to fruition.
What kind of fishing are you guys going to be doing?
So it's through an outfitter. And we have 1 week with the outfitter. So according to my quick look at the calendar, it's a lot of salmon fishing, just bank fishing. And then I think there's 1 or 2 days of being on a charter, halibut fishing, doing all the, boat, ocean stuff. But I think it's just kind of everything Alaska put into 1 week.
Amazing.
So there are some terms in there where I'm unfamiliar with, so I don't actually know what style of fishing it is, but I just know it's different than what I'm doing. So we mentioned on a podcast earlier, but I said that I will never go fishing in August again. But I was like, I'll make an exception for Alaska because Alaska is just different. And maybe it'll kick something off. Maybe I'll go there and, expand my network and have a little leeway to a hunt that's out of reach if I didn't go.
Plus, it sounds like you have a pretty good opportunity to come home with a substantial amount of fish.
So, according to the outfitter, we can bring home 100 pounds of completely processed fish.
Amazing.
That's a lot of fish.
It's a lot of fish.
And if we do go over 100 pounds, then whatever else we want to bring home on top of 100 pounds, we'll just pay for it. But I was like, 100 pounds of fish, if we even get to that quota.
Is that per group?
That's per person.
Per person.
So we can come home with 300 pounds of fish.
Awesome.
And we're not just talking about any fish. We're talking about the freshest, cleanest, you caught it fish in Alaska.
Amazing.
So I'm stoked with that. So throughout the fall, we might just be eating a lot of smoked salmon and, just good stuff. I guess you can say it's kind of my meal prep for the fall. I think fish is probably my least consumed meat or snack, if you will.
Yeah, me too.
During my hunting season. So,
well, especially too living in we eat plenty of trout in freshwater fish, but living in the inland Northwest, we don't eat a lot of saltwater fish.
No, so I'm extremely excited for that. I just think I've never been to Alaska. So this will be my first time actually being in Alaska, and I'm just as excited as I am with fishing. It's just like you're in Alaska.
It's going to be a crazy experience.
Have you been to Alaska?
I have, yeah.
Okay, see? So you and Steve have been there.
Yeah.
And I haven't.
It's something.
So that's what I'm doing middle of August. And on the last week of August, this is when Nate and I will officially link up for our first fall hunt together for the season. We only have 4 days, if I remember right, on the calendar. And this is literally the last week of August before it rolls over into September, which, depending on if we haven't filled our 2 tags by then, who knows? Maybe we'll strike out and, spend a weekend there again. But we may just have already filled our 2 tags by then. Who knows? You never know. Hunting is volatile like that. But if it goes according to the highest probability, you and I will be meeting up the last week of August for a fall bear hunt here in Washington. We don't know exactly where we're going to go yet. We just know that that's the dates that we set for that week. And then we roll into September, and this is probably my most busy September. I know for you, you said yours is pretty nonchalant. It's busy outside of hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is just straight up hunting. So, and not in the hunting that some of you might be thinking. There's 0 archery elk in there. It's just booked with everything else.
There's nothing else to hunt in September besides archery elk, though.
So how this is going to work is I'm still debating because there's a lot of driving that might be involved. So for the past, 1, 2, 3, 4 years, the first week of September, I've gone down to Oregon to go squirrel hunting. This year, I'm debating on it because the hunt that comes right after that is really close. So that means that I would have to cut that squirrel hunting trip short by 3 days, which is fine. I still get a solid 5 days in. But to drive from Oregon to my next hunt, which is Wyoming, it's a 19-hour drive, right? So how it's going to work is we're in Spokane. It's a 10, 11, 12-hour drive to Oregon, hunt 3-4 days, and then a 19-hour drive straight to Wyoming. So I don't know if I want to do that yet because our podcast producer, Chris, he's going to go with me. And I told him, I was like, if you go with me, just know that you're not going to be home for 3 weeks. And I think that might be up to this point in his life, that might be the longest he's ever been away from home. And so I don't know how he's going to fare, but I texted him and he's like, I'm down. So if it does go according to plan and we are feeling that ambitious, we'll go down to Oregon August 30th. So as soon as our hunt's over, if it takes us to the last day, pack up, go down to Oregon. We'll hunt until September 3rd, September 4th. And then Chris and I, we're going to drive straight there to Wyoming. And in Wyoming, I have 2 landowner tags for archery mule deer and archery antelope. And this is with Yeti. So I'm a brand ambassador for Yeti. And so, with Yeti just comes opportunities. And I got the invite to join Mr. Jones on this landowner archery mule deer and antelope hunt. And he did the antelope hunt he didn't have the mule deer tag last year, but he went for the antelope. He killed one with a recurve bow.
Really?
Spawn stock. Killed him with recurve bow. He's just an absolute archery nut. And so he's planning to repeat the recurve bow, but this time he's got both a deer and an antelope tag. I'm going in with a compound bow, and I did the Total Archery Challenge shoot in Red Lodge, Montana this year with him. And that was my first tack. So prior to that tack, over 40 yards I wasn't that confident. And then when you go to tack, literally all your shots are like between 60 and 100 yards. So it forces you to get out of your comfort zone. And honestly, I did pretty well because on the last day at tack, me and Andrew Jones, we decided to do a competition because it was just the two of us. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to run through the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation course, which there's 15 elk. And he said, because the landowner, this archery mule deer tag, he's like, essentially one, and this isn't official, this is just how the landowner wants to regulate it. Mm-hmm. One of them is a trophy tag, where you can just go and find the biggest buck, shoot the biggest buck. The other one's kind of like a management buck tag. Now, you can legally shoot whatever is legal, but that's just the way the landowner specifically wants those tags to be allocated. Mm-hmm. So we decided to go on that Total Archery Challenge shoot the last hour before we had to leave. And he said, whoever wins this shoot gets the trophy tag.
Wow.
So,
were you going off of score, like ring score?
Ring score. So, I don't know exactly how archery goes, but this is how we did it. Basically, whoever was closest to the 12 ring wins, but your score only counts if you actually hit the vital zone of that foam. So if I hit outside of the vital, regardless of where he hits in the vital, he takes the point.
Okay.
And we didn't have time to finish it. So what did we end it at? We ended it at 5-5. I was so proud of myself. I was like, how is this rookie over here standing up with this guy over here?
A good deal.
Yeah. So we ended up 5-5, and I told him, I was like, we'll duke it out in Wyoming. We'll just figure something out. So originally that hunt was supposed to be like September 7th/8th through the 13th or so. But then just a few weeks ago, I got a call from a very prominent human being in this industry, and he's like, hey man, I have a very short list of people that I want to do this caribou hunt with, and I've ran through all 5 of them, and none of them can make the dates. So you're next up in line, giving you a call, do you want to go? And I was like, I would love to go. Are you kidding me? Just give me the dates. And he gave me the dates, and he's like, September 10th through the 18th. And I was like, ooh, let me give Yeti a call real quick. And so I sorted all of it out. Andrew, thank you. But Andrew over at Yeti was kind enough to shift our Wyoming hunt forward a few days. So instead of going the 8th, we're going to go like the 5th/6th, and then we're going to hunt until the 10th. But we're not necessarily hunting to the 10th. I'm going to hunt all of the 9th, and then I'm going to drive overnight with my camera guy, Chris, because Chris is along the whole ride. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to fly out of Bozeman with the said people. I can't disclose too much information yet, but I'm going to fly out of Bozeman, and then I'm going to have my camera guy, Chris, just drive the truck and everything else home back to Spokane. And I'll spend that week or so in Canada on my first ever caribou hunt, which
crazy, dude.
Yeah, I'm super stoked about it. So, as of right now, like, we're just trying to work out the logistics. Like, I've never gone out of country before. And so, like, I'm finally, like, getting my passport.
Oh, wow.
So, like, I'm in the process of doing the expedited because, again, out of my defense, like, this was out of left field. I had no intentions of going out of country.
Yeah.
And so finally, like, you know, it's kind of good. You need that push sometimes. So I'm getting my passport stuff, and as soon as that's over, then they can officially book the flights because you need that stuff to even book a flight in the first place. And so, yeah, September 10th through the 18th is Canada caribou.
Caribou time.
Yes, sir. I'm stoked for it.
So, is that hard-horned?
I believe so, yes. So this is like way northern Canada, particularly in the province of Manitoba. Mm-hmm. We're pretty far north.
So that's going to be a hard-horned hunt.
Yes.
Wow.
And this is a hunt where, again, I can't disclose too much information about it because even I don't know much about it. There's this outfitter. It's through an outfitter. Mm-hmm. And he essentially just got access to this new property is not the right word, but he got access to hunt or guide out of this new region. Mm-hmm. And he's never done it before. So we're going to be the first people in there. And from what I hear, it's like if nobody's been hunting there for X amount of time, it's usually a pretty good hunt. Or it's a terrible hunt. We don't know. It could be completely 100 or 0. So we don't know. I'm just excited to go, and it's a opportunity where I think many just dream of. Right?
You're sitting next to one of them right
I
here.
mean, think about it. It's like to go on an opportunity hunt where you have access to 55,000 acres of prime land in Wyoming with Yeti, and then somebody hits you up, and you're like, all of a sudden, you're like, hey Yeti, like you gotta make some exceptions for me. Usually means that it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And it is. And I love Yeti and it's awesome. But selfishly, I told Andrew, I was like, I would love to make both of them work. But at the time, I told him as well, I was like, because Wyoming was planned way ahead of time, like you have priority. I just want to let you know, like, if it doesn't work out, I'm more than happy to just do the Wyoming hunt because it's a spawn and stock archery hunt. And according to the best hunter I know, Remy Warren, he's like, that's the hardest thing you can do is bow hunt or bow hunt for mule deer. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just trying to make the most of my season. And unfortunately, there was a little bit of overlap in the season there, but we made it work. And so I'll just do my darnest to fill a deer tag in the 3 or 4 days I have in Wyoming and then head to Canada. And then after that's over, I fly back home to Spokane. And if everything goes well and there's no wildfires, which I don't think there would be any because everything in that region is already burned, Chris and I, we're going back down to California. So a over-the-counter general season public land blacktail hunt is on the both of us. And just as a little bit of, I don't know, like an employee celebration, employee bonus. He's not really an employee, but just as a bonus for him, I was like, I'll buy you your blacktail tag, and we'll both go down there and try to pull a double. So Nate and I, we did our Oregon blacktail hunt last year, but that was like the last week of season, and you get to hunt the rut. But our good friends Jason and Colin, they were like, man, if you're really trying to like kill deer, early season where it's at. And so California in this particular region, it opens September 20th. So we can hunt like true early season when they're still pretty much bachelored up. And so I just want to have both ends of the spectrum with blacktail figured out, or at least experienced both of them. So California opens early and they don't go as late as Oregon. So try to do that September 20th through the 30th, around that time frame. And then we roll into the first week of October. I don't really have anything planned there. It'll probably be my catch-up week. And then if it does go well, then I will join Nate and I will join Tanner on their Oregon mule deer hunt that they drew. And again, that's the hunt that Nate and I did in 2023. So we're planning to go back into the same spot because if he's still alive, we know of a 170 plus in there. And we saw like a 140 super palmated buck. Just we saw great deer in there and good numbers of them. And all those little raggies that we saw 2 years ago, they might be
solid deer now.
They might be good bucks. So that's still up in the air. I'd love to make it, but it just depends. Even if I was able to go, I probably have to cut that hunt short on my end too, because basically that week that Nate and them are planning to hunt through, it ends right at the start of when Washington's deer season starts. And I always try to go to deer camp because this year I only have one weekend at deer camp because the second weekend, one of my good friends decided to put his wedding on the second weekend right in the middle of October. And I'm like, I don't know.
I'm not the only one then, you see?
No, but the difference with them is they don't hunt, so I give them excuses. Granted, when you got married, you didn't do much of it either, so you're in the same boat. So just because I love Andy, I was like, all right, I'll come to your wedding. I'll skip out on second weekend of deer camp. And so that'll be the first weekend I missed at deer camp in a little over a decade.
Wow.
So like usually those 2 weekends of rifle season in October, I've always spent at deer camp. And so this will be the first year I miss out on it. And so, yeah, that's, we go into general season deer, just missing out on that second weekend. So I'll fly out to Spokane Friday, attend the wedding on Saturday, and then fly back Sunday. And then we have that Monday through Friday, which is the last week of general season here. And I actually drew a second deer tag. So I have a doe tag. And so I'll probably spend that week hunting for that doe if I haven't filled it earlier. And then just kind of open, just kind of seeing what other people are doing around that week and whoever's available, try to link up with them or something. And then like you, I did rifle elk for this year for Washington. So as soon as deer's over, we roll into rifle elk. I'll probably spend the first weekend and the full weekdays trying to kill an elk here in Northeast Washington. And then as soon as that's over, I go back down to Oregon. Gonna meet up with Colin and Jason and those guys for our third year of late season blacktail rut hunt.
That'll be a fun one.
I'm
sad I'm missing that one this year.
I look forward to that hunt, and it might be the last one I do for a little while because I really need to start burning my Oregon points.
Mm-hmm.
And so, try to run it back, try to do a three-peat with those guys, and then as soon as that hunt's over, which is like a week long, basically switch gears, and they'll be coming back up to our neck of the woods, and I'll be taking them out for a whitetail hunt again. And after their whitetail hunt, and then I go to Montana again. So this year, I was fortunate enough to draw a Montana cow permit. So the season is pretty long, but this is just the one time I have open for it. And like you, I put in for the surplus tags in Montana, the CWD management tags.
Mm-hmm.
And as of right now, we're still awaiting the result for that. But last year I applied, I got it. Like I drew that tag, I just didn't actually go buy it because I had too many tags. And then I also put in for the general deer license as a wait list. So as of right now, those have not come out. So I could be going in Montana with both my cow tag and the deer tag because I got an invite from a company that I'm kind of in the talks with at the moment. They're like, hey, man, like if you have a deer tag, we have a spot where you're going to be chasing trophy class whitetail. And I'm like, all right, let me put my name into this surplus waiting list right here. So again, I don't know if that's going to go through, but the cow tag for sure, I know it. And Brennan Fisher, who is essentially the guide for Remy Warren's outfit, he opened up their lodge and he said, hey, if you need a place to stay, come stay at the lodge and you can just hunt out of our lodge. And that way you just don't have to figure out or worry about camping in the snow or doing what my dad and I did last year, constantly having to pull up a wall tent and taking it down and, living in the cold. So I was like, that was very kind of Brennan. And as soon as that's over, then the last hunt for me personally is a Utah archery mule deer hunt with the All-In Company guys. So over in Red Lodge at Total Archery Challenge, I shot with Isaac and both Isaac Sr. and Isaac Jr. Super solid dudes. I enjoy being around them. They're just super fun, high energy, very positive, and they're Isaac Jr., which is Isaac Sr.'s son. Like he's an archery nut, and so like I'm thinking about buying a new bow and sending it to him, so he can just set it up and send it back, and I can start shooting the bow and have it dialed. But yeah, that's my season in a nutshell. And then December. I have no personal tags in September, but I have a handful of people that have things going on in December where, if I can make time for it, I would love to go join them. One of our good friends, Austin, he drew a cow elk tag here in Washington, and his hunt, I believe, is like December. It's like the 1st/2nd week of December.
Gotcha.
So if it works out, then I'd love to go and just help him because he basically killed a state record black bear. He's killed 200-inch mule deer in Washington, but he's like, when it comes to elk, I'm as green as it gets. And I'm like, I don't know much about elk either, but I think I can help you find a cow. So that's basically my rundown of 2025. And so, okay, so folks, if you guys, I'm going to prelude here. So Nate and I, we did that challenge last year. We're going to do it again this year. So
that's right.
We're about to, disclose all the details to all of you guys. So we have witnesses, and just so that we can't go back on our word. So what Nate and I need to do is we need to count how many tags we're going to hold this fall. And then we need to tell, I guess, you guys, and in this case, each other, our predictions of how many tags we are going to fill each. And then we have to accept it. And so this is kind of like a contract agreement right here where we sign on the spot and we post it for all you to see so that we can't lie about it.
Amazing.
So this is how we're going to do it. So Nate and I, we've compiled all of the actual tags that we are going to hold for the 25 fall season. We're going to name them all, and then after we name every single tag, we're going to go in, and I'm going to give my prediction of how many tags within those maximum tags I have to Nate. So, for example, if I have 10 tags, I'm going to be like, Nate, out of these 10 tags, I'm going to fill 5. And these are the specific tags I'm going to fill. And Nate simply has to agree to it. If he doesn't agree to it, then I have to do some adjusting. Vice versa, you get it. And then basically when we have our tags or that percentage figured out, at the end of the season, whoever fills more tags out of what they predicted in terms of percentage-wise, whoever fills more does not have to run a marathon. And the other guy has to run a marathon.
That's right.
So, Nate, kick it off. Tell me how many tags overall, how many absolute tags do you hold in 25?
Absolute tags I hold in 25, big game tags, is 7 tags across 3 states. So in Washington, I have deer, elk, bear, and cougar. Right now, I could have a second bear tag, but I'm not planning on buying a second bear tag. Okay. And then in Oregon, I have bear and deer, which is 6. And then Idaho, I have my bear tag.
So you have 7 total tags.
So I have 7 total tags. Of those 7 total tags, I believe that I will fill 3.
Are you going to name which 3?
I believe I'm going to fill a Oregon deer, a Washington deer, and a Washington bear.
Before we finalize whether I agree or not, I'll run through mine.
Okay.
And we'll go together.
Okay.
So this year, again, kind of like Nate, there can be additional tags that I purchase, but those are on the big what ifs or maybes. These are more or less the tags that I kind of know for a fact I'm going to hold. I have a total of 15. So a little bit more than doubled yours. So we got Washington bear, Idaho bear, Montana bear, Oregon bear. That's 4 bear tags.
Yep.
We've got Washington deer. We've got Wyoming deer. We've got Oregon deer. We've got California deer. And we've got Utah deer. And maybe Montana deer. But we're not going to cross that one.
Okay.
So that's 5 deer tags, I believe. So that's 9 tags. Yes, 5 plus 4. For elk, I have Washington elk and I have Montana elk. So that's 2. So that's 11. And then we have caribou. That's 12. And then we have Wyoming archery antelope. And that's 13. And then we have my Oregon cougar and Washington cougar, which is 15. And then I have my Washington second deer tag.
Okay.
So I have, realistically, I have 16 tags that I know for a fact that I'm going to hold in 2025. Out of those 16 tags, I haven't even figured out what I'm going to fill. So let me just walk through it like this. Washington bear, because I have these things numbered on my phone. Washington bear, I'm going to say I'm going to fill that one.
Okay.
Idaho bear, I won't fill that one. So let's see. So Washington bear, I'm going to fill. Oregon deer, I'm going to fill. Washington deer, general tag, I'm going to fill. Washington second deer, I'm going to fill. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Washington elk, I'm going to fill.
Okay.
That's it for Washington. Montana cow elk, I'm going to fill. That's 6. Canada caribou, I'm going to fill. 7. Wyoming archery deer and antelope, I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm going to fill only 1 tag, which is the deer tag. So that's 7.
That's 8.
8. Utah, I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm not going to fill that tag. And then California, I'm going to fill that tag.
Wow.
So 9 out of
16 tags
now,
is what you're going into.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm being a little bit ambitious here. Okay, so that's kind of like me just pushing myself out of the comfort zone. So we've got 3 versus 9. I don't accept yours. I feel like you got to put one more tag in there.
Got to go in the one more. Okay.
Come on. I put Washington elk in there.
Okay, I said I would fill Washington deer. I said I'd fill Oregon deer. And I said I would fill
Washington bear.
Washington bear.
You got to get another one in there.
I will say I will fill 2 Washington bear tags.
So that would up your tags from 7
4.
to 8. But if you go 4 out of 8, I'm cool with that.
You're okay with 4 out of 8?
Yes.
Okay.
Or 4 out of 7. Doesn't matter if you actually pick up your second bear tag or not. ultimately, it's not about what tags you actually feel. It's just a number in this case. We're just being specific about it. But as long as you have 4 tags on it, I don't really care which one they are.
4 out of 7.
I'm cool with it.
Okay. I will, I'll feel 4 out of 7 then.
Okay. I'm going 9 for 16. So the percentage, so if you feel half, so you're at 50. So you need to feel 2 to be at that. I need to technically feel at least 5.
To beat me.
So this way I like it because we can't tie. Because if I feel 4, I'm under 50. If I feel 5, I'm over 50. So somebody's for sure is running a marathon. Unless you feel all 4 and I feel all 9 and we're tied at 100.
And then we both run a marathon.
At that point, we're both losers. So there's only somebody's running a marathon at the minimum.
There you go.
Worst case, it might be both of us. If we go 0 for 0, we're both running a marathon.
That's
If
right.
we go both 100 for 100, we're both running a marathon. It's only when you're kind of in the middle ground and somebody's up above the other one that is safe. So that's our 2025 fall season at the moment. Again, things happen, things come up, things might change. You might get hit up last minute and say, hey, you want to go on an Alaska moose hunt with me or something? We don't know. We're waiting for that phone call. But that's basically the game. So with that said, whoever loses, you guys all heard it here first. Whoever loses is basically doing the same marathon that you're doing September 13th this year in 25, but they're just going to run it next year in 2026.
That's right. And we're doing this very purposefully before I go run that marathon September 13th because I'm not so sure that I would agree to this again if we did it after.
This is just something that's fun, and we just think it'd be kind of a cool little punishment.
And also make ourselves better because I will say without a doubt that this marathon has been a big-time motivator in my off-season conditioning leading up to hunting season.
Yeah, we can all use a little bit of a marathon before we go hunting.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of like, you can't really lose. Once you finish the marathon, you're just in that much better conditions to face your upcoming hunts. And the fact that you plan on September 13th, it's a great time to plan a marathon. You might need a week to recover, but you ain't got much going on anyway.
That's right.
So there you go, folks. That's our 2025 fall season. Again, anything can change. And we're excited. 16 tags in my pocket this season. That's a record high.
That's got to be far record high for you.
Yes. Last year, I thought I had a lot.
And not only 16 tags across 7 states.
And 1 province.
2 countries, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the first time in my life I will ever step foot outside the United States.
It's amazing.
I've never been out of country, and the fact that my first out of country thing is a caribou hunt, sign me up.
What a lot of people dream of, man. I'll tell you, you will have a lot of fun on that caribou hunt.
Yeah.
The caribou hunt in Alaska I did with my dad still is the coolest hunt I've done in my life.
And if you haven't watched that video is up on the channel right now. Samong Outdoors, check it out. Killer hunt. So a lot of hunts planned, a lot of cool films to be coming. I'm excited to go and just do my normal thing and get that stuff out. The only hunt that I won't be filming is my caribou hunt, but that is because we'll have a team there taking care of that.
Absolutely.
So for once, I just get to go and, immerse myself in the hunt, not have to worry about running cameras or doing this and that. I just get to focus on hunting, and I get to know what a normal hunter feels like when they're out there.
You're going to love it.
I'm excited.
You're going to shut down your YouTube channel after that.
Yeah, I'd be like, I can get used to not having a camera running around. But no, I'll probably just do little things. Probably take my Canon R5 and do personal photography. I might do a little vlog if I really feel like it, because a week in the backcountry, it's a lot of time to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With that said, folks, we are so excited for 2025. We hope you guys are excited, and honestly, we'd love it if you guys kept in touch and let us know what you guys have going on in 2025, whether it's a comment on the YouTube video or wherever you're listening to this podcast, Spotify, Apple. Let us know what you guys got planned.
Yeah, I love hearing the tags other people drew, the hunts other people have planned. Just like we have stuff that we're excited for, there's thousands of people out there that are excited for their hunts, and we love hearing about it.
Yeah, every year I get hit up by just people like, hey, my dad drew a moose tag. You got any tips? And I'm like, I got all the tips in the world, but can I join? But yeah, no, I know a handful of people that have reached out, and they've drawn some fantastic tags, you know, and it's kind of like, well, I'll be there one day, hopefully. But with my season, I cannot complain. So if you hear me complaining, it's because I'm a douchebag. That's going to do it for the conversation of this podcast. This is really just laying the groundworks of what's to come in 2025 and just some of the things that you guys might be able to expect from my end of things, both podcast-wise and the content side of things on the Samong Outdoors YouTube channel. But as you know it, before we close things out, we're doing fast facts.
That's right. Got a fast fact. I think I went first, so.
You went first, so you want me to go?
It's up to you now.
All right, I'll go next. So, in the spirit of caribou, here's a fast fact. There are 5 subspecies of caribou in North America. They are the mountain caribou, the woodland caribou, the central Canada barren ground caribou, the barren ground caribou, and then the Quebec Labrador caribou.
Interesting.
5 subspecies of caribou in North America.
That's pretty cool. And do you know what subspecies you'll be out chasing?
I have no idea. I literally have no idea.
Oh, that'll be fun. All right. My fast fact has to do with a Washington animal, and that is a Shiras moose. Although this is a fast fact, I guess that is generalized to all moose. Moose. Do you know what the thing hanging under a moose's chin is called?
I feel like I've heard of the term, but I don't know off the top of my head.
It's got 2 common names. One is a bell, and the other is a dewlap, which is what I'm familiar with. Anyways, this dewlap is kind of a mystery to biologists, but the dewlap or bell on a moose is that piece of fur or that like fat-filled strand that hangs down below a moose's chin. Some biologists speculate that it can help with temperature regulation. As I guess other animals that have dewlaps, it is known that that is for temperature regulation. It's never been proven in moose. Or it might help with scent glands during mating season or the rut. However, both males and females have dewlaps. One interesting thing about the dewlap, though, is in extremely cold temperatures, they have been known to freeze and break off of moose. So they will lose their dewlap because it's gotten so cold, their dewlap freezes and snaps off.
Does it grow back?
I don't know that. I didn't get that
So
far.
I feel like that's probably due to frostbite.
Yeah. And it probably is due to the fact that if it's mostly fur and fat, it might not be very vascular, meaning there might not be a large blood supply to it. So if there's not a large blood supply, although, again, then if it's a temperature regulation thing, you would think there would be, but...
Interesting. Yeah. No, because I know frostbite does a lot of stuff like that. So, for example, like birds in the winter when it gets really cold, like they will literally lose toes due to frostbite. Some lose their snoods. Turkeys will lose their snoods.
So this is very similar to that.
Yeah, so it's like different animals. I mean, certain body parts of different animals are just more susceptible to losing parts of their body to frostbite. I've had chickens back then, like when we just had some brutal winters where like extremely cold, they just lose like a toe or something, you know, and it's brutal. But again, those are kind of the body parts, like you said, where there's just not a lot of blood flow to. And so I think they're kind of the first thing to go.
It's a rough world out there for animals.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Well, one, I didn't even know that it was called a bell or a dewlap. I just thought it was part of a moose and didn't think there was a term for it. But yeah, folks, I think that's going to do it for this podcast. Again, this is quite different than what we normally do. No stories here, nothing, but we just wanted to lay the groundwork because we love talking hunt. We love talking hunt planning. And again, when it comes to all of this stuff, man, Onyx Hunt is your friend. Nate and I have been studying Onyx Hunt nonstop. It's kind of our year-round thing. I think most of you know what Onyx Hunt is by now, but if you don't know, man, it's the best thing ever. You can go to a new area not knowing anything about it and then end up exactly where you want to hunt.
Especially for you guys, you know, we gave kind of both ends of the spectrum here. You know, Samong, who, gets to do this full time and has some pretty sweet opportunities, hunting a lot of states, hunting with other people in the industry, working with companies like Yeti. And then, on the somewhat other end of the spectrum where there's me, I still have my full-time job and I just have this passion for hunting and try to sneak in as many hunts as I can, which often sounds a little bit less glamorous on the, when you list out the tags, but it's the same, we're both just really trying to get out there, spend as much time as we can in the woods. And one of the nice things is if you're not frequently hunting out of state, or you have drawn a tag out of state and you can't make all that extra time, you don't have the time off to take, you've got your job, you can't take those trips over there to scout, use Onyx, get familiar with the country. It's amazing how familiar you can feel going into country if you've never been there, if you've done your due diligence and you've read up and you've looked at the maps and you've done the research on your unit before getting there.
That's right. And again, if you're renewing your subscription for the first time, code SY20 at Onyx Hunt to save you some cash. And to wrap things up, if you got a fast fact for us or a trivia duel, email us triviaduel@scioutside.com. That is TRIVIADUEL at syoutside.com. Thank you so much for being here this week. We're excited for the season to kick off. Hopefully, some of you have already found success in the Bear Woods.
Absolutely.
We're stoked to get out there, and we will see you guys next week.